Guys, we have an urgent breaking news coming out. China threatens U.S. ally with severe blow. So we're going to see what's going on in this one here. Once again, China on Thursday issued a stark warning to Japan, demanding that Prime Minister retract her recent remarks about the possibility of military intervention should Beijing impose a blockade on Taiwan. Alright guys, before I start, for those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife Jessica Santiago at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida 34691. And for those of you that want to contribute to the channel, we do have the Cash App link and the PayPal link in the comments box and also description box. Once again, thank you so much for your support. All right, so here's the big problem for the Red Dragon. They don't recognize. I don't think they don't recognize a female leader. Just like certain of the Mid-East country, they don't like a female, in the spotlight. And Japan, well, they have a prime minister. I think she's, if I'm not mistaken, I think she's the first female. I could be wrong, but yeah, she put something out there that kind of triggered the Red Dragon. They weren't happy about that. So again, the Prime Minister of Japan, her recent remarks kind of sparked something here. The Red Dragon kind of responded. They didn't like that. The Red Dragon considers Taiwan part of its territory and has repeatedly stated that unification with a self-ruled island is inevitable by force, if necessary. Once again, the People Liberation Army has in recent years ratcheted up pressure on Taiwan, including large-scale military exercises that stimulates a blockade. So again, you guys already know, again, the Red Dragon, they keep saying Taiwan belongs to us. You guys acting like this is some kind of country, you're giving them all these equipments, but now you have Japan, South Korea, US, and all these other countries that are backing the island, and China's not liking it one bit. Rising tensions in the island strait, and the Red Dragon military buildup have worried Japan. In 2015, the U.S. Defense Treaty ally moved to reinterpret its pacifist post-war constitution to allow for collective self-defense alongside U.S. forces if a conflict were deemed an existential threat. Now, once again, you have Newsweek reached out to the Japanese embassy in Washington, D.C. and the U.S. State Department by email with requests for comment. Usually, they don't get any response. When it comes to stuff like this, they keep tight-lipped. So during a Red Dragon Foreign Ministry press conference Thursday, spokesperson Lin sharply criticized Takachi's comments on possible military intervention, calling them openly provocative. I tell you what, that woman has some guts, man, to do something like that. Man, I don't even think Joe had the guts to say something like that. They always say that females, females, they don't play. They don't play. They come into the spotlight. It's a whole different ball game. And that's why those other countries, they don't like, in the spotlight. They don't like females in the spotlight. They just don't see that. They don't believe in that. All right, especially in the Mid-East. They don't believe in stuff like that. That's why there was a big problem with Saudi Arabia purchasing WWE. And WWE, again, Saudi Arabia, they have a whole, again, they don't believe in women, certain things, owning certain businesses. And WWE, you have Stephanie McMahon, that's Vince McMahon's daughter, and you have all these women working there. So it was some kind of issue. They kind of declined. They were going to purchase WWE for, I think $5 billion or something. Japan must immediately correct its mistakes. Man. And withdraw these egregious remarks. Otherwise, all consequences would be borne by Japan. Wow. Lin reiterated that the Red Dragon position that the island is the Red Dragon Island and said how the island issue is resolved and how national reunification is achieved is the Red Dragon owned affair, not subject to interference by any outside force. Once again, if Japan dares to militarily intervene in the island strait situation, it will constitute an act of aggression, and the Red Dragon will deliver a head-on and severe blow. Wow. The Red Dragon is not pleased. They don't like that type of stuff. They don't like that type of stuff. So Lin also questioned whether Japan was seeking a repeat imperial past, referencing the country's military expansion in the Red Dragon and across the region in the 1930s and the 1940s. You guys already know that was the year, man. The 1940 was like the end of it. Again, the U.S. dropped the atomic on them. Not one, but they dropped two. I think it was in 1945. It was the Fat Boy, and I forget the second one. But again, that was the year that Japan surrendered. It says here, speaking to Parliament on Friday, once again, Takachi, who took office last month. So she basically knew. She just entered into the spotlight, and all of a sudden, we're about to see WWE3 out there. All right, so she just took office last month, said a Red Dragon blockade of the island would likely be intended to keep U.S. forces from intervening. She argued that the use of force by the Red Dragon warships would constitute a survival-threatening situation for Japan, one that could justify a response by self-defense forces. Takachi declined to retract her remarks when pressed by an opposition lawmaker on Monday. She basically saying, I don't regret what I said, and I'm not scared of the Red Dragon. I tell you, she's tough. She's a tough one. Just don't give him the buttons. All right, so it says here Takachi's comments prompted a fierce response from the Red Dragon Consul General in Osaka. I'm gonna skip that name there. Who in a now deleted X post appeared to threaten to the capital. Those are fighting words. Stop it. Those are fighting words. I can't say that part, guys. But look at this here. Yeah, that's Things are getting really ugly. She just got into the spotlight. All of a sudden, this is happening. Wow. That's man, that's this thing is really hitting the fan now. The post sparked a political firestorm. Japan's foreign ministry lodged a diplomatic protest with the Red Dragon, while Japanese lawmakers and social media users called for this person to be declared persona non grata and expelled from the country. Man, I mean, stuff like that should not be said. I mean, that's some serious stuff. So what people are saying? Well, once again, this person, a prominent commentator and former editor of the nationalist Global Time newspaper, wrote on X, if Japan dares to expel the Red Dragon diplomats, once again, the Red Dragon will inevitably retaliate. Wow. Well then, Takachi is an evil... Ooh, man, they're really going after her. An evil witch. That's what I'm saying. Again, guys, when it comes to women being in power, it's a whole different ball game. It's a whole different ball game. All right. So again, you have Kim's sister, Kim. They're both named Kim. And I heard that she's worse than Hillary. You know, Hillary, 33,000 emails. Kim's sister, again, she's no joke. If something happens to Kim Jong Un, she takes the spotlight. These Black Widows, mm-mm, mm-mm. Again, you guys know what happened to the male Black Widow after mating. The female Black Widow, well, they take out the male widow and feed it to their young ones. Man. It says here, well, then, Takachi is an evil, you know what? She has successfully ignited a new explosion of mutual hatred between the Red Dragon and Japanese public opinion. And boy, oh boy, she really sparked something. So what happens next? Well, Takachi, I think that's how you pronounce her name, who has described the Red Dragon as an important neighbor, faces the challenge of managing relations with the Red Dragon, one of Japan's top economic partners, while contending with ongoing friction over a number of issues, from a territorial standoff in the East Red Dragon Sea and lingering resentment over imperil Japan's occupation and swath of the Red Dragon territory. Man, so they're not pleased. The Red Dragon is not pleased. They don't like that type of stuff. In a recent CBS 60 Minutes interview, the U.S. Commander-in-Chief Donald said the Red Dragon leader had promised him he would not take military action against Taiwan, adding only that they know the consequences, without elaborating on what a U.S. response might entail. Here's the thing, Donald might not do it, but the next person that comes in right after Donald, he might do it. He, or possibly she, might do it. Wow. So what are your thoughts on this one here, guys? This was a shocking news here. The Red Dragon, like I said, they're not gonna tolerate that. Hmm. Give me 1 second here. I'm trying to see if there's any updates on this one here. Yeah, I'm not seeing much, but all right. So yeah, it seems like this is all of it here, guys. But I want to take you to this next news here. All right, so we're gonna jump to way up there in Europe. Um, the NATO alliance is coming together. Denmark, Estonia, Finland, Iceland, Latvia, Lithuania, Norway, and Sweden have just announced a $500 million package to purchase military equipment and ammunition for Ukraine, with all supplies coming from the U.S. Okay, it's coming from the U.S., it's going to all these countries, and all these countries are going to send it to Ukraine. And the U.S. is going to be like, we had nothing to do with it. That's none of our business. Even though they send it to these countries, the country's sending it to them. We are involved. We are involved in these biblical wars. So for the sleeping giant to say it's none of our business, we had nothing to do with it. Yeah, we sold that equipment, but that's not our business. It's like saying, you go to Walmart, you see two guys going at it, and then you grab a baseball bat and give it to one of the guys and say, hey, use that. But if you hit him with it, it's none of my business. Instead of stopping the fight, he gives them more equipment so they could go and keep going. Alright guys, so this is all the information here. I got some more videos coming up with when it comes to nation against nation and kingdom against kingdom. Do me a favor, hit that like, triple check your notification bell. You guys already know since the beginning of 2025, something broke on this platform. And it's not only happening to us, this is happening to a lot of channels. And boy, oh boy, they did broke something. Alright, so again, continue praying for us. We thank you for all the love and support, either through Patreon or PayPal, Cash App. We really appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much. Check out the videos I posted today. The links will be in the comments box. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you all. Till next time later. Peace.